Apparently, we were intercepted on our way to respond to the Magistrate's orders. Oh no, giant spiders!
Stop your shaking, dwarf. You're safe.
No thanks to this lot. Can't get a decent blade at a bargain anymore. You, though, you're what a man needs. A skilled enthusiast.
You may want to reword that, pal, considering you just said, you're what a man needs. I get that you then ended that with skilled enthusiast, which you kind of saved yourself, but considering that you had both Hawk and Isabella right in front of you, as well as Bethany, that kind of came across as very inappropriate.
There a job in this rambling?
Name is Javaris Timtop, and I need someone to help me court the Canary. Those hornheads in Kirkwall have a powder that explodes, and it's just dust. No lyrium, no demons. Anyone can use it.
I felt it sting. Their ships fire thunder. I doubt they were eager to sell.
That Arishok said I wasn't worthy. That only their outcast, the Talvashath, or that mercenary. I said, great, I'll go talk to them. Didn't go over well. But, made me think. Maybe he'll bargain if I get rid of something that bothers him more than, well, me.
The Talvashath.
The Talvashath. Are you up for some paid hunting?
Your people must have something like that already.
Small things, shaped to crack faults, not shatter the earth. Plus, they're mostly lyrium. Expensive, poisonous. The Chantry controls it topside. The glow makes you a target. Problem after problem.
All right, I'll step in for you. For a price.
I'm done bargain hunting. I want it done right. Now, best I could figure, they're up the Wounded Coast, a whole camp. Take their heads off and meet me at the compound in Kirkwall. Get this right, and we'll be richly rewarded. Richly.
Interesting, that got me friendship with Isabella. We'll talk more about the Kunari and the Arishok when we get there later. Just check if there's anything else here to loot. Nope. Alright, now let's actually go to where we were heading. Try and resolve this whole magistrate thing that's going on here.
I'm here to do your job for you. Where's the fugitive?
No skin off my nose if you want to go in there and get yourself killed. The man you're looking for, he's holed up in the ruins. Though I doubt he's still in one piece.
That bastard's to be brought in alive after all he's done? Just because it isn't you and your pretty little Shemlin children he's after.
I don't know or care who you are, but you need to step back right now.
Please, Sarah. Let me explain. The man you're after, he targets elves. He dragged my daughter into those ruins and killed her. I want him dead. My girl, Leah, she wasn't his first victim. Over the years, he's taken dozens of our children, and not once has he paid for his crimes.
Why only elves? Why not human children as well?
We're easy prey. No one thinks twice when an elven child disappears.
Would you mind telling me who you are?
My name is Elrond. I'm a merchant in the city. Please, no one else cares that our children are being slaughtered like beasts.
There must be some humans who would take offense to these disappearances.
We're nothing to them. Even if this murderer does finally go before the courts, the Magistrate won't take our word over his.
I'll tear his throat out myself.
Thank you, Sarah. You have no idea what this means. For all my damn coin, I'm still only an elf to these Shemlin. There'll be no justice for my girl in the courts of Kirkwall.
What do you say about all this?
They won't go in after him. They're stalling, trying to give the murdering bastard a chance to get away.
Oi now, Elf. Like we said before, you're bleeding mad if you think we'll be going against the Magistrate's orders.
This murderer cannot be allowed to walk free.
Then that bastard will finally get what he deserves. Thank you.
Not wise, stranger. You try to take justice into your own hands, the Magistrate'll have your head.
The Magistrate can sod off. I won't let a murderer walk.
Funny, the Magistrate is never heard from again after this quest. Even if we take down, this person inside, he'll vow revenge, and then we'll never hear from him again. I imagine that could have been something followed up on, but again, 1 year. It's gonna keep coming up just over and over. It's gonna be a point where I don't even have to say it. You'll just know that's what I'm referring to. It's like, well, it could have been this, or this could have happened, but 1 year. It's incredibly unavoidable when it comes to the flaws and issues of this game. How many things were just simply not fleshed out or given more time or added to because 1 year.
I'll deal with it. There! You're mine! Now you fall! One less. I got one!
My goodness, so many giant Mabari in here. Isabella has some weird lines that she says during combat. I think at one point she says, somebody needs a spanking, and I'm like, really, Isabella? We're in combat and you're gonna shout that out? It's like, can you keep your pants on for just a minute, woman? I kid, of course. Like I said, I do like Isabella's character. Obviously, she is very sexualized, but she does have an interesting story and does have more to her character than that, as we see during the game.
Who are you? Please, can you get me out of here? I just want to go home.
Leah? Your father told us you were dead.
My father? Is he safe? Kelder said that he'd hurt my family if I didn't come with him.
Who is Kelder?
The man who took me.
Tell me where he is.
He let me go when I tried to get out, but then those things, they started coming out of the walls. I thought I heard him calling for me. I almost went back to him. I didn't want to be eaten. But Kelder, he hit me. told me I was nothing. I begged him to stop hurting me. I didn't think he would, but out of nowhere, he pushed me away and just started crying. Don't you see? He didn't mean to hurt me. He told me. There are demons. They make him do these horrible things.
Geez, where have I heard that before? Yeah, let's just say I've heard cases about these kind of domestic abuse type of situations and cases where sometimes claims like this are made, and you almost just kind of instinctively just want to roll your eyes, as we will come to find out. And based on how we go about doing this quest with our choices, she will be able to realize, looking back on this going, what was I thinking?
It doesn't matter if the Maker himself was telling this man to hurt you. It's still his own damned decision.
I don't believe that. He couldn't stop himself.
She is a child and does not understand. Her pity is admirable, but misplaced.
I'll tear him limb from limb.
But it's not his fault. It's not.
Run to the entrance. You'll find your father there.
I knew my father would eventually send someone. I was hoping the beasts down here would get to me first.
You wanted those creatures to kill you. Why?
It's what I deserve. I should be torn apart, forgotten down here, not protected by my father.
Give me one reason why I shouldn't cut you down where you stand.
Do it. Kill me. Slit my throat. That's the only way the whispers will stop. I asked my father to do it, but he wouldn't. He didn't tell you, did he? The Magistrate is my father. He's tried so hard to keep me, and what I've done, hidden away.
Not hard enough, so it seems.
I'm not here to discuss the Magistrate.
Father is a good man. He tried to help, to stop me. But he can't. No one can. That elf girl, she had no right to be so beautiful, so perfect. The demons said she needed to be taught a lesson, like all the others. The Circle was supposed to help me, but they lied. They said there were no demons, that I was mad. This isn't my fault.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I could have possibly bought what he was saying until he said she had no right to be so beautiful, so perfect. Because remember, Leah told us about how he hurt her. And that is where he also lost Hawk, because this Hawk that I'm playing is just having it go one ear and out the other. She's had it already. She's already made her decision, but she'll go ahead and just keep finding more information.
Let me get this straight. You torture and murder elven children for being too beautiful.
I didn't want to hurt them. They forced me. The demons don't like it when they cry.
Leah said you told her to run. Why?
I was crying, and she asked me if I was all right. After everything the demons made me do to her, she was concerned about me. How could I let them destroy something so good, so pure?
Yeah, you ever heard somebody use the phrase, the devil made me do it? That's basically what he's trying to latch on here. Not willing to admit his faults here and just simply keep claiming that the demons made me do it. When it turns out, no, there aren't any demons.
If the Circle suspected a demon at work, they wouldn't risk setting you loose in the city.
No. They lied.
Coward. Doesn't even have the balls to own up to his own depravity.
What Isabella
Can't
said.
stop. I've tried so many times. Please, you have to kill me. There's no other way.
He sees the truth of it. Allow me to grant his wish, if you will not.
Any last words before he kills you, Kelda?
Tell my father. I'm sorry.
And that's why I bought Fenris, although I'm surprised, because I thought I was supposed to get friendship with Fenris as well. I don't need friendship with Bethany, because she's max already for some reason. And as far as being concerned whether or not I have enough friendship or rivalry with anybody, I have now enabled the developer console on this game, which has a special menu that lets you be able to affect the friendship or rivalry points of any of your companions. So if I find myself in a situation where I'm like, oh no, do I have enough? I can always just, use the console to change it, to make sure that I have enough one way or the other. And I actually, the friendship rivalry thing is a little confusing because it doesn't really help explain what exactly that means, because it's not like the approval system in Origins where you actually had concern about whether or not somebody, say, could leave the party or not if you had low enough disapproval. I've had runs in Origins where either you can have a super low disapproval and they'll just be like, you know what, I'm done, I'm leaving. And they leave the party for good, never come back. Or they'll turn hostile on you. There actually are videos that some people have made trying to show the worst possible run you can have in Origins, where people can either literally turn on you or just outright leave. And it's hard to do, but it's possible. That's not really the case here in Dragon Age 2. The way someone interpreted it, I thought was actually rather interesting. Friendship is kind of an ideology thing when it comes to your companions and how they view things, and based on whether or not you direct friendship or rivalry will affect. And I think this made my history of going rival with Meryl kind of become clear on that. Because the way they described it was, friendship is if you want to help enforce or rather reinforce how they want to go about things and view things. Rivalry is when you want to encourage them changing how they view things. This is kind of makes sense to me when you think about how it works for Meryl. If you go friendship with Meryl, she will believe that she is still, even regardless if we destroy the camp or not, if she is going to continue working on the mirror or not. If it's friendship, then she will be like, yep, I'm clearly on the right path, and I will continue to work on this mirror regardless of what it's cost me. And she'll stick with it, and she won't break the mirror or anything. She'll just keep working on it. But if you go rivalry, she realizes how much it's cost her and that this was the wrong path, and then will actually go outright destroy the mirror and give up on it. So to me, that's a great example of trying to display what friendship and rivalry does for these characters. If you actually want them to keep continuing the path that they're on, or if you want to encourage them to kind of change how they view things or their ways.
You saved her. My little girl. I didn't dare hope... Did you find that monster? Is he dead?
I did your dirty work. Now I want some coin for it.
Of course. This is all I have, but nothing compared to what you've given me. Come, Leah. We best bring your mother this joyous news.
I feel just as bad for those knife ears as the next man. But ignoring the Magistrate's direct orders, that's madness.
If you really felt bad about them, you wouldn't keep calling them knife ears. Just kind of starts to come across as meh, as opposed to your actual genuine concern. By the way, we'll be hearing from Leah later. more than likely in Act 3, once some time has passed and she looks back on what happened and goes, gosh, what was I thinking? Let's take a moment. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and inform the magistrate of what just happened.
So the Magister put lyrium on your skin for this?
So I'm told.
Does it
I don't know what to say.
You do not want to know the answer to that.
Citizens of Kirkwall, my dear wife Ninette has gone missing. I shall reward the person who returns her safely. Questions about the bounty on Ninette? Come speak to me in the Hightown Market. We'll talk to him later. Oh, hold on. Bounty. Rescue the Viscount's son. Offered on the authority of His Excellency Viscount Marlowe Dumar, citizens of able nature, Viscount Dumar requires your aid. His son Seamus Dumar has been lost to uncertain company, and a safe return is sought with all haste. Make your case of skill to Seneschal Braun at his station in His Excellency's keep, and the reward for this act shall be generous in both sentiment and coin.
Long since paid my debt over this. It's grand to see it again.
To the void with this.
So, your son is dead.
You dare show your face to me again. If you know.
Yeah. So he vows revenge, and we will never hear from him again. So. Hello, Masha.
Please, can you help me? My brother.
Give me the details.
Karen was always so devout, so idealistic. He was so proud when the Templars accepted him. I pleaded with him not to join the Order, but he wouldn't listen. You hear dark rumors about the Templars and Knight Commander Meredith. And now my brother is gone.
What do people say about Knight Commander Meredith?
Oh, she has many admirers. They laud the service she does in keeping the mages in check. But others say she is terribly fierce and utterly without pity, that she sees demons everywhere. It is dangerous even to whisper such things.
What have you heard about the Templars?
People harboring escaped mages just disappear. Templars interrogate and threaten passers-by. My friend has a cousin who's a mage, and she says he was made tranquil against his will. You hear more with every passing day.
Stop crying and tell me what you know.
Yes, Sarah. Karen would write me every day. Then suddenly, no more letters. I wrote him many times with no response. I tried to see him, but Knight Commander Meredith threw me out. They won't tell me anything.
I'd be putting myself at risk, possibly crossing the Templars. Why should I do this for you?
I have precious little, but if you find my brother, I will manage some way to pay you. Perchance. In your journeys, if you find yourself in the gallows, ask the other recruits, Wilmerd and Hugh, about my brother. They were Karen's closest friends in the Order. If anyone knows where he is, it's them. May God bless you and watch after you in this endeavor.
My, those weapons look sharp.
They are. Alright, so now I can actually go to the gallows. Not like that. To the gallows with you!
I've heard about the Circle of Magi outside of the Imperium, but I've never been in one. Are you certain it's wise for us to come here, considering who we're with?
It would help if you didn't ask questions like that.
Yes, why don't you just wave a sign over our heads?
This seems more like a prison. I wonder if it's more effective than the Circle I know.
How is the Imperial Circle of Magi different?
Once upon a time, it was as it is here. The Chantry watched the Magisters closely for any signs of corruption or weakness. Then it changed. The Magisters were permitted to watch over their own, and Templars kept only to enforce the law. What happened next was inevitable. The Magisters rule again, as powerful as they ever were.
You said the Chantry used to watch the Magisters. Why did they stop?
You must remember that the attitude towards magic is different in Tevinter. Magisters came from wealthy families, bloodlines that had nurtured magical talent for countless generations. The Chantry was not trying to control poor peasants, but the scions of the greatest houses in the Imperium.
I thought the Magisters had been thrown down by the Chantry.
On the contrary, Andraste never defeated the Imperium. A great army conquered the south, but not the north. The Magisters eventually surrendered to the Chantry, but they did so on their terms. They kept their influence. Thus, they reclaimed what they lost over the centuries. Some battles are lost by inches.
You talk about the Magisters as if they are all evil.
I have no doubt that some are good and noble men, strong enough to resist temptation. But how many temptations do you wish to offer a man before he will give in? Blood magic is everywhere in Tevinter, from the lowliest apprentice up to the Archon himself.
Just to reiterate this, in case you didn't hear me say it before, one of my favorite things about Inquisition is what we learned about the Tevinter, mainly from Dorian. Dorian actually ended up becoming one of my favorite characters in Inquisition because he was such a wonderful and interesting source of information about the Tevinter that we really had not had before, because up until this point, Tevinter was basically portrayed as the worst possible, most evil place in all of Thedas. And then Dorian shows up in Inquisition, and it kind of showed that, no, there's actually more to Tevinter than we thought, and it's not all evil, that there actually is some good people and good places and things in Tevinter. He talked about how proud he was of his home, and how much he loves his home, and really tried to make a point that, that a lot of the Magisterium are the really bad ones there, not the common folk in Tevinter. Not everybody there are horrible, evil Magisters and all that.
You can't have seen this for yourself.
Daenerys talked about it often. Of course, they say it's forbidden. Behind the smiles and closed doors, however, it's a different matter. To be a Magister in Tevinter is to be glorious. To be a powerful Magister in Tevinter, that is worth any price.
You're saying the same thing could happen here?
If the mages were permitted to be their own watchers, of course. It is too easy for a mage to resort to blood magic if they feel the need is great enough. A mage can desire power, justice, revenge, protection. Any cause will do, and then they are lost.
The ones that are lost should be dealt with.
That is the question, isn't it? Who should deal with them? All I am saying is the Imperium offers no answer. All that Andraste did long ago to end the tyranny of magic has been undone.
Tyranny of magic? Very dramatic.
Let me show you my homeland, or the ruins of Arlathan, and then you may speak of drama. Power corrupts, as they say, and mages have power enough already.
What the Circle does here is better than the alternative.
An alternative I am very familiar with. Freedom is a noble ideal, but I see no oppression here. I see fear and danger. But enough. I'm sure we came here for a reason.
Yes, that reason has to do with going to these shops and checking whether or not there's anything I can get. Also, there's other people here to talk to, though not quite yet. For one thing, we gotta go down here.
This is yours. Try to keep track of your things.
Don't wave that around. I mean, thank you for this perfectly normal item.
Ah, welcome, my dear friend, to Sol's shop.
My name is Solicitus. Please take a look around. My apologies in advance. Our shelves are a bit bare at the moment. Actually, if you're interested, I could use a bit of help to remedy that.
Talk.
All business. I like you. It's been too dangerous to leave the city of late, and the substances I require for my creations are, of course, elsewhere. Perhaps you could find them. You'll be compensated for your time, have no fear. I'll also give you first pick of my new creations.
Make up a list of what you need, and I'll keep an eye out for you.
Perfect. A discount on everything in the shop, Sirrah. The spider's silk gland. I hope the fellow you took this from didn't give you much trouble.
Who says I took it from a fellow?
Welcome back to Souls, my friend.
A Templar greatsword. More runes.
I guess you've... been with a lot of men.
Men, women, elves. A dwarf in drag once, but I don't recommend that.
Oh. Oh, you're blushing.
Why? How many lovers have you had?
I never...
You're a virgin. Hawk, you've been holding out on the poor girl. Get her a night at the Blooming Rose. On me.
That's, very generous.
I'm a giver.
Ancient Tevinter lore is hard to come by, but there's history to be had here in Kirkwall, the city once home to the Imperium's slave trade. What answers does Kirkwall hold? Why look here instead of Paravantium or Voldorma? The Imperium does not give up its secrets easily. Even with the Magister's centuries dead, our journey is perilous. Here on the docks of the gallows, we renew our vows. And should we fail, search for the markings of the Band of Three. I believe the Enigma of Kirkwall is like a quest chain. There's a few that are kind of like that are not easily to find. Alright, there is another that we can pick up. Since we're kind of like picking up some quests here and there. There's the conspirators there, but then there's there. There's
this
that.
relic you mentioned losing.
You have pretty eyes.
I have pretty eyes.
You elves have such pretty eyes. Even the men. It makes me want to pluck them out and wear them as a necklace.
I wouldn't suggest trying.
Oh, I would never try. Not without reason, of course.
Forget I said anything.
Hey.
I can always go back to that shop at the gallows.
That's the last of them. You do good work. Come, men, back to the vigil, and away from this cesspool of a city.
Maybe another time.
Please, Sir Thrask.
He won't go to the Circle willingly, but it's the only place.
Madam, we'll do our best to find your son. But I cannot guarantee his safety if he continues to resist Templar jurisdiction.
He's just a boy.
Greetings.
He's an
The
apostate.
priest was asking after you again last week.
I've brought my family there twice this year. What more does she want from us?
Alright, I'm gonna grab Meryl real quick. Although it looks like I have something to talk to with her about.
This city is amazing. Do you know I saw someone get mugged? Right outside. It was fascinating. Everything happens here all at once. How does anyone keep it all straight?
Someone has jumped outside your door, and that's exciting?
It must be the alien age greeting. Hasn't happened to me yet, though. They must not like me. It's so busy here. So many things just get lost.
By the way, obviously one of my favorite things about this game is the banter between the companions. What we find out in the banter when we have Meryl and Varric in the party is probably the reason she hasn't gotten mugged yet is because Varric is making payments to the Coterie and others to basically keep them away from Meryl. And he'll make comments about this, about like how it's costing him a fortune. Like, because he's looking out for her and trying to protect her. Which is like, aw, Varric, you're so sweet.
Do you miss the Danish?
I miss Haren Pivel's stories. The creaking of Aravels in the breeze. The city is so busy and confusing. And the elves here are not like my clan. But I'll get used to Kirkwall in time.
The Templars haven't found you, have they?
I've been careful, even among the Dalish. Keepers never work magic in public. And I think the Templars don't even see me. I'm just another elf in the alienage.
It lets apostates like my sister escape notice.
I'm certainly not complaining. I'd be cut down on the spot if the Templars knew what I was. I'm glad you came by. I needed someone to talk to.
Some of my favorite banter in this game is when we have both Isabella and Varric in the party. Now, I'll try to show off some of that. But let's have... Alright, let's get Meryl in. And let's grab Aveline for a moment.
I am sorry for your loss, mistress. But I can offer your son mercy only if he turns himself in.
I'm trying to find him, but...
The Templars cannot tolerate apostates.
You won't be able to protect your son from the Templars alone.
I have done all I can to protect him. I am Ariane. My boy, Fainriel. He's all I have. All my family. When I learned he had magic, I could not bear to send him to the Circle. But his connection to the Fade, it gives him nightmares, dreams of demons speaking in his mind. I would rather lose him to the Circle than to himself.
What kind of dreams is he having?
He dreams of demons, calling to him, pulling him into their world. Every day, it grows harder to wake him. That is why I turn to the Circle. They are the only ones that can protect a mage from his own powers.
Did your son run away?
He learned I had contacted Sir Thrask. He felt I betrayed his trust. He thinks he can live free of the Circle. But I am afraid without proper training, he'll kill himself.
Those look like Dalish tattoos. Why do you live in the city?
I was born to the Dalish, but came to Kirkwall for a time and dallied with a human merchant, Vincento. When I found I was with child, neither Vincento nor my tribe wished the burden of an elf-blooded human infant. I raised Fainriel myself, here in the alienage.
Tell me the whole story.
I learned years ago that my son likely had magical talent, but we could not bear the thought of him locked in the gallows. So we hid. When the nightmares began, Fainriel still refused to contact the Circle. But I truly think they are the only people who might save his life.
When I find him, it's my decision whether he is safer in the Circle or eliminated.
No, please don't hurt him. He's just a boy. Talk to him. I know you'll see he's a good lad. He just needs to be protected from himself. I don't know where Fainrail is gone, but there are 2 places you might start your search. Sir Thrask has been looking for him. If you speak to him in the gallows, he'll be able to tell you what ground he's already covered. And Fainrail's father, Vincento, recently returned from Antiva. He's a merchant in the Lowtown Bazaar. Fainrail might have sought him out.
Tell me about this Templar.
I believe he's a good man. He doesn't hate mages, but sees what it took me too long to realize. Even the best-intentioned mages are at the mercy of their sleeping minds. There are other Templars who are much less sympathetic.
You and Fainrail's father are not married?
Vincento had no desire for a wife or an elf-blooded child. I haven't seen him since the day I told him. I have written, though, to keep him informed about his child. Fainrail wanted to meet him.
I'll ask around, but no guarantees.
He ought to have his own life. Out from the shackles of the Circle. Everyone should.
My husband Wesley was a Templar. They're not all fanatics to be feared.
Thank you. It has been a lonely time hiding. It's almost a relief to finally confront this openly.
You must really like the Hawke family.
Why do you say that?
You came all the way from Lothering with them, didn't you? And they're not even your clan.
Humans don't have clans, Meryl.
Exactly. You came so far together, and you didn't even have a keeper to make you get along.
So your keeper tells you to stop kicking each other, or she'll turn the Aravel around?
Sometimes she also warns us to stop pulling hair.
If you don't stop right now, I'm going to turn this Aravel around. And you'll never see Disneyland.
Greetings, my lady. You look like a woman who'd appreciate the finest rubies from Antiva gracing her lovely neck. I bring only the best northern merchandise to the free marches.
Actually, I'm more interested in your son.
My lady, I'm a bachelor. I've never met a woman of sufficient beauty and charm to tie Vincento down.
That's the best you can do with a guard staring you in the face.
Let us not ruin the day with such weighty thoughts. Perhaps I could show you my silks.
You've got an elf-blood bastard running around, and I know you know where to find him.
Hold off, all right? Yesterday was the first I meet the boy. Seemed like a good lad. The kind of son I might have been proud of. The boy's in over his head. So I sent him to the only man I know who doesn't despise mages. A former Templar named Samson.
Does this Samson have a residence in Kirkwall?
No. He's a wanted man. He stays out of sight during the day. At night, he stays near Darktown. That's the best place to find him.
Okay. So we made progress on a few different quests there. When we return, I think it's time for us to finally pay the Wounded Coast a visit, and maybe I'll get to show off a bit of the banter for you guys. Stay tuned.